Hi guys, thanks for joining me for another episode of Survival 4ZA. One of the things that I wanted to have a go with today is I got a DD 3x3 tarp finally. Some of the previous videos I've been using my sort of really cheap one that I bought for, I think it was £12 off eBay. The main difference is not so much the brand DD. I'm not really one to get hung up on names and brands. Obviously the quality is going to be better. Yeah, you do get what you pay for ultimately. I didn't pay for it as a birthday present. But for me, one of the main differences was that the cheap tarp that I bought only had eyelets in all four corners and in the middles of each straight run. So the DD tarps have all four corners, the middles of each straight run, and then the quarters of each straight run as well. But then also across the middle of the sheet, once it's laid out square like that, across the middle, down the middle, is a reinforced sort of taped seam with eyelets off of that as well, which comes in massively handy for different types of tarp shelter. There's certain times when you just really want to be able to grab the middle of the sheet to either give more support points if you're making an A-frame type tarp shelter. There'll be other types. There's a few that I've looked at that I want to have a go at, including one of them was the tarp tent, which you need a walking pole for. I'm sure if you've subscribed to any other bushcraft channels, you've already seen a tarp tent made. It's no different to the normal ones that you've probably seen before, but one of those things, again, it's a learning journey for me. I want to have a go, try these things. If I get them wrong, they still go on the channel. So hopefully, if I find a bit of flat ground today whilst we're out, I'm on a very hilly area at the moment. Find a bit of flat ground, I'll have a go at doing the tarp tent. Hammock camping, it doesn't matter what the level of the ground is like, because as long as you tie your two ends somewhere near parallel or at the same height, then you can swing on your hammock, and it doesn't matter what the ground underneath you is like. So I'm going to set my hammock up on the uneven ground to hopefully show that you don't have to have this lovely flat area to camp, and then I'll hike off and try and find some flat ground somewhere where we can have a go at making our tarp tent. So guys, this is Cheltenham. This is where I live. At the moment I'm on the Campton Hill. As you can probably see from this video, Cheltenham is a town inside a bog, surrounded by hills all the way around us. But it definitely has its benefits because we're only ever a short drive or walk away from woodlands, hills, and the great outdoors. Right guys, hopefully, I don't think the camera does it justice. I'm on quite a steep slope now that's going down towards my left, and you can see behind me a couple of trees. Hopefully it shows you the slope of the ground. I'm going to try and set my, oh gosh, falling down now on the rocks. If I don't fall to my death, I'm going to try and set up the hammock now, just to prove that we can still set up a camp even if we're on a hilly side. Okay. So, 1 stuff sack containing hammock. Wrong stuff sack, that's the DD tarp. I'll probably cut that bit out and show you the right bag the first time, because I'm an idiot. 1 stuff sack containing hammock, as is written on the bag. I thought that bag was too big to be a hammock. I've even got them different colours so that I should know these things. This is a bit where I try not to fall to my death on the slope. So I might have to use the hammock to actually help me abseil a little bit towards the other tree now. No sooner does he say it than he actually falls. Too much line on this side, so I'll just readjust this. Oh yeah, Bear Grylls eat your heart out. Man versus the Campton Hill. Sure it'll be easiest to get in from the uphill side. Yeah. Drop. So there we have it, guys. Turns out you don't need to have flat ground to set up a camp, because there's my hill going down away from me. There's Cheltenham in the background, and there's me on my hammock. So the next thing that I wanted to try today, or the next part of this video, was finding a flat bit of ground and using my DD 3x3 tarp that I got for my birthday to set up the tarp tent. So using my hiking pole, the DD tarp, and some pegs. I'm not going to bother making pegs today. I've got some pegs that came with the tarp, so I'll just use those. Just need to find a flattish bit of ground, a good 3 metre patch of ground really, to be able to pull the tarp out and make the tent. And when I do it, I'll go through the steps to make it as well, in case anybody else that watches these videos wants to have a go at making one. They're really cool to give you a good sort of wind and rain shelter, just to keep the elements off you. And it makes a really nice, good sized tent that easily 2 of you could fit inside. So I'll make up this hammock and we'll go and find some flat ground to make the tarp tent. Right, big test now, guys, getting out of here without falling to my death down the hill. I'm going to get out on the uphill side again and try not to die. That's the plan. Try not to die. Quick release knots. Basic principles of a good knot: easy to tie, easy to untie, and fit for the purpose of which it was intended. And I like these quick release knots, just because quick bang bang bang, pull them away. Because guys, remember, if you're in a survival situation trying to avoid zombies, you want to be able to pack up your camp pretty quickly and get away. Quick release knots every time. So guys, I think I've got to get off here now anyway, because it's only a matter of time before my accident-prone self falls off of this steep bank anyway. So I'll get off here, get back onto the trail path and go and find that flat bit of land. So let's get going. I'm not going to make weird Bear Grylls noises as I try and descend this. But I am going to use a Bear Grylls technique. Using a pole to brace yourself behind, as you slide down the hill, you can anchor yourself into the hill and help apply a bit of friction and braking as you go. Check me out, learning from Bear Grylls. Okay. So guys, DD 3x3 tarp, as discussed earlier, birthday present. We're going to basically now build the tarp tent. You will need trusty walking pole. I nearly fell over then, didn't I? Let me try that again. You will need, properly went that time. You will need trusty walking pole. Make sure that it's adjustable because it needs to be able to adjust to the height of the tent that we want. Okay, so DD tarp. I've got some hank of paracord in my bag as well because you always need paracord and a couple of little loops used as prusik knots and stuff. Don't need prusik knots for the tent, but we do need a bit of paracord to help stake it out a bit. So conveniently, I keep it in a roll. I've already had it out a couple of times just to have a play with it. So let's give this a go. Roll out the tent. Oh, it's like I planned it. So guys, I think the battery died on me halfway through. So I got to the point of like rolling the tarp out and explaining about the guy ropes and stuff, and then I just continued to build the whole tent and talk to myself without even the camera working. So I looked even more of an idiot than I normally do when I'm outside. So I've taken the tent down, checked the video to see that yes, it certainly did turn off. So I'm just going to build the tent again. So I'm going to start with pegging out the back side or the back edge of the tent. As I said before, with this DD tarp, they've got 5 tie-off points on each of the 3 metre edges. So one in each corner, and then you've got one in the middle, and then you've got the ones in the quarters of the sheet. So I want the 2 quarters ones, so not the outside ones. One's in from there. So 2 pegs. I'm going to peg those in nice and tight along the back edge of the tent. So I'll take 2 of the pegs and do that now. Now I've pegged out the back edge like I wanted to, so using the 2 quarter ones. I want to now peg out the front part of the tent. It's a really quick tent to put together, as you'll see. I want to peg out the front part of the tent now. This time it is easier to demonstrate than to explain it because I don't know if I explain myself very well. I want to peg the 2 outside, so the 2 front corner loops on the tarp, but I want to bring them in so that they're in line with the quarter ones at the back. If that makes sense. Let me show you. It'll make much more sense if I show you. So, using the corner, bring it nice and tight, but bring it into where the quarter is. And the same on this side. So then what you should have, although I'm using the corner ones, that the width between my 2 peggings at the front should be similar, very close to the same width as the back 2, so that it's like almost 2 tram rails running side by side. Next bit is the good bit because it makes the shape of the tent, and then it's pretty much done then, other than pegging out the sides. That's why it's really quick to do. So you take your extending pole, drop it down a little bit so that you can extend it once it's under there. And then you want to go into the tent only about a foot, but with the DD tarp, like I said in the earlier part of the video, it's got this reinforced section down the middle. You want that reinforced section going from front to back of your tent rather than side to side, because I want to use that reinforced part now to wedge my tent pole underneath. If you want to give it a little bit more security as well, or make it a bit softer on the tent, you can just wrap like a sock or something over the top of your pole, but because it's reinforced, it's more than enough to be able to take that, and we're not a ridiculously windy day, it's a beautiful day today. So I'm just going to put this underneath and make the shapes of the tent. So, I'll take the camera off the tripod and take on the tour, but that, as you can see, is really quick to set up. It's a massive tent, 2 people can get in there really easily. You could get sort of your self-inflating air mass or something in there, 2 of you plus your gear could sleep in there quite comfortably. Keeps the rain off you. The considerations I guess you should really take with it, it's an open fronted tent, there's no door to it, so just think about the wind direction. I mean, as you can see where I am today, I've got this lovely Cotswold stone wall on my right hand side. Is maybe face the door, angle it towards the wall a little bit, because the more exposed part of where I am over towards my left is where the wind might sweep in towards it. I've got some natural protection from that wall. So again, as you can see, it was quick to set up. It's relatively low profile, it's quite a stealthy looking tent. Now DD do their tarps in, I mean I've chose the green because I wanted the green because it blends in a bit more with your surroundings, so you can make stealthier shelters out of it, but they do it in black, brown and even orange now. Why you would want an orange tarp, I don't know. But you can see this is actually quite stealthy looking. Low profile at the back there, and it keeps the space. Let's go inside and show you. So, loads of space in here, genuinely loads of space. I can already feel that, because I'm just out of that bit of wind, there's not massive wind today, but there's a breeze coming through here. Out of that bit of wind, it just feels homely, it feels warm, it's good. So you can have your kit in the tent, air mat down the side, bags of room for you and your kit, really quick to set up. There's another couple of tarp shelter variations that I'd like to have a go at. So whilst we're here, what I might do is take this down and try another. Why not, eh? Another kind of stealth shelter, I guess. It's quite a low profile shelter that allows part of the tarp to become a ground sheet, which again, you know I'm a fan of using part of the tarp as a ground sheet if possible, because just to give you another layer between you and the ground. I do need to use a length of line as sort of a ridge line on this. So for this, take the tarp, and basically along the one edge I want to incorporate the middle 3 loops. I want to leave the 2 outside ones. then I want to secure my ridge line at maybe about waist height. I'll have to use a bit of stick as a spotter. So pressing knot, just use a loop, wrap it round the line, through itself a few times. There is another tarp shelter video where I show you how to tie and use the pressing knots, which I'll put a link in the description to this video, but basically it's the same principle. So I'll just show you the pressing knot again. Put the loop on top of your line, and you're taking the knot end underneath the line back through that loop, and then you can do that 2 or 3 times. I'm going to do it 3 times on this occasion. The trick is keeping the knot neat when you cinch it all down. So he says like he's capable of doing so. So you cinch it all down so the coils sit like that, and then you can slide it one way, put some tension on it, and it'll hold. It's genius really, but also at the same time quite simple. So what I'm doing here is I'm just feeding my loop through the loop of my pressing knot, and then just using the stick as a stopper, and then bring that across. You can see that that's allowing some tension on it now, because you see that's allowed for some tension because the other pressing knot at this end has gripped because I'm trying to pull against it. So just biting down on that ridge line, nice. So pegs. Now this is where, again, being DD tarp comes in really handy. It's got this middle ridge or strengthening line which has got loops attached to it. Okay, so I want basically to fold the sheet in half now. So bottom half is going to become my ground sheet, and then what I'm going to do is take the loops from the middle, I'm going to take it back, and again my middle 3, I'm going to take them back, so the ones that run parallel with the top 3, I'm going to peg them out, give me a curve of the shelter. Okay, I'm going to start with the middle one and then do the 2 either side of that so I can keep it in line with those. I really like this shelter. This will be perfect for in nice weather like this, where to do an overnighter in. Sorry, the cows are going nuts in the background. Perfect shelter. Let me take the camera down a bit and show you, because you've got bags of room inside, spacey. You've got a ground sheet. Yes, it's all open at the front. That's why, you know, it's not ideal in freezing cold conditions, but plenty of fresh air circulation in warm weather like this. Let me drop the camera down and I'll show you, because this is certainly one of my preferred ones. Those cows are going nuts. So So the one thing to be wary of is I probably don't need that peg in the middle. It does help hold the sheet out, but it's just another trip hazard. But check the ground first with the ground sheet, because if any stone sticks, if he's digging into you, are going to cause a massive problem later on. So I just give the ground a little kick as I was laying it down to clear all that. But this is plenty of space. I mean, I'm 5'8", 5'9" on a good day, and this is plenty of space for me. This is really comfortable. Take me, some gear, and again I can still put my sleep mat down on here to give me another layer. Nice and open on a beautiful day like this. Disadvantages compared to the last, head height really. In the last tent I could probably sit up here and crouch down like a little bit of a hobbit, but it's for stealthy, you know, out of sight camping. It's a nice stealthy tarp. The cows are getting close. I'm going to go and say hello to them in a minute. Cows, be quiet. Right guys, I'm going to end this video here. Oh, blooming cows. They're going nuts. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into this video. Thanks for staying with it to the end if you've watched it all the way through. I'm going to end this video here. So the cows want to get in on the video. I'll go and film them in a minute. They can be like the closing scene or something like that. Okay, I'll definitely get them in on it because they've been a big part of this video, really. But no, so basically did a bit of setting up a hammock just to prove, you know, you don't need nice. Almost getting close. You don't need nice flat ground to be able to set up a camp. That's the main advantage or beauty of a hammock, is that whatever's underneath you doesn't really matter. It could be water. You know what I mean? As long as you've got those two poles, or trees to attach your hammock to, then you're laughing. And then I wanted to basically find a bit of flat ground and do some tarp setups. Really. The tent, I love the tent. It's massive. 2 people can sleep in there. Jack, my lad, he comes out with me sometimes. He's been in a couple of the videos. He would love that if, you know, in some of the nicer weather that we build a tarp tent like that and come out and do an overnighter somewhere. So we might do that when he's on his school holidays or something. And then the stealth shelter, only good for one person really, but brilliant. It's low profile, it's inconspicuous, it's again very quick and easy to set up. Very quick and easy to set up, and it's enough for one person and your equipment. And it's not quick and easy to set up, which means it's going to be quick and easy to put away. So I'll put all that away now and go and film the cows, I guess. They're desperate to be a part of the video. Thanks again guys for watching the video. If you like what we're doing, please click the like buttons, click on the subscribe and the little bell so you get the notifications. So thanks guys, and I'll see you soon, hopefully, on another video. I had to come back for the camera. I did the dramatic walking off bit. Ooh, look at me, sat there drinking my water, and now I'm off. Come back for the camera. Cheers guys. Was it you making all the noise at me? Getting in the way of my video. Go on, say hello. You've gone on YouTube now. Give us a moo. Don't want to do, you got shy. How did you get there anyway? Alright, I'll see you later.